Good morning, sir.
Hello.
You're Kirk Edwin Jensen? Yes. You got a ticket for no valid operator's license, no license in possession, and I don't think you can actually be convicted of both of those. It's either or, and no proof of insurance. Mr. Marvin said he spoke with you. You don't wish to enter a plea of guilty, which is your right, but you don't wish me to appoint an attorney. Can we just set this for a...
The moment the judge reads the charges, everything seems routine, until the defendant speaks. Instantly, it's clear this won't be a normal hearing. Logic is about to collide head-on with ideology. What follows isn't just a court session, it's a journey into a parallel world built entirely by the defendant's delusion.
You have a right to have a... Well, let me ask you this. You don't want me to appoint an attorney. Do you wish to hire one?
No, I really don't even want to contract with the Crown Corporation here. This has really turned into a religious persecution issue because, and I'm sure you can see, I canceled that driver's license 13 years ago because I didn't want to have that contract any longer. And I wanted to get out of that system and be completely separate. So I went with a different government altogether, with a different issuing authority, and I have documentation in the form of an international driving permit, which Mr. Marvin acknowledged he is aware of because he said he used to have one. So he knows about them, and that's what I had when I presented it to the officer. For whatever reason, the officer thinks it's not valid or that it's fraudulent, and that is his choice to decide that. But the charge of not having any driver's license on me is not true because I did have it on me.
Do you have it with you today?
No, he has it.
Who has it?
The Officer Brooks, who took it from me. I have.
Here it is, the classic sovereign citizen script. He claims to have canceled his contract with the government and now answers to a self-made authority. But let's be clear. You can't unsubscribe from the law like a Netflix plan. In the US, driving is a regulated privilege, not some fantasy right granted by imaginary governments.
But it already has been...
Well, that's an interesting defense. Now, we've been struggling with international driver's licenses. And for one issue, you have to be in the country legally. So we've got a number of Mexican people that have Mexican driver's license from Michoacan or Jalisco or one of the Mexican states. But if they're not here legally, it doesn't matter. You're obviously here legally. Born a citizen, you may have...
I have changed my nationality is what I've done.
Where's your passport from?
It's issued by the government of the United States of America. It's not a blue passport. It's a different colored passport than that.
The judge stays remarkably calm, quietly testing the cracks in his logic. When asked for a legal passport, the defendant admits he's never even tried leaving the country, bold in theory, clueless in reality. He's confident in his fantasy identity until real authority steps in. The judge's simple, good luck, lands like a hammer, subtle, but utterly devastating.
Yeah, like I said, according to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I have a right to change my nationality, and the Crown Corporation here is trying to deny me that nationality, which really falls under a religious persecution issue here, because I don't want to have any more dealings with the Crown Corporation. And
I don't know what universe you're from, but there is no Crown Corporation. This is the state of Michigan, and in the state of Michigan, you have to have a driver's license. You may have one. Your operator's license, you're right, is canceled. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I cut it up and I sent it back to the Secretary of State 13 years ago. I did not want to have that contract any longer.
I got convicted in Niles in 2019 of no ops. You failed to appear.
This moment is crucial. The judge calmly acknowledges that international permit laws can be complex, but then delivers a sharp dose of reality. This isn't about religion or persecution, it's about Michigan law. The defendant's beliefs may hold spiritual value, but faith doesn't override traffic statutes or legal authority.
You don't want to have an attorney. So the question becomes, we set it for a trial. And do we set it for a trial in front of the judge, or do you wish to have a jury come in and hear this?
I want to just plain have it settled, and whether it's with him and you.
Well, I don't have the authority to settle it. He does.
Mhm.
I can set it for what's called a last pretrial before a jury trial. And I will get your international, this may be more of a legal issue than a factual issue. You were driving in the state of Michigan and you don't have a Michigan driver's license.
Oh, the other.
But you may have a valid international license. I don't know.
Right.
There's no, now the prosecutor has the police report. I don't.
The other thing that I failed to mention was that I was also under contract.
Watch as the judge methodically dismantles each layer of the defendant's argument, piece by piece. He even cites a prior case where someone genuinely tried to follow the law. That's the key difference. Confusion can be forgiven, but delusion cannot.
When you were here at your arraignment in May, you were very polite and respectful, and we don't agree on things, but let's take a closer look before I jump to any conclusions.
And I'll have a lot more evidence at that time. Yeah.
And if it can be resolved, great. If it can't be, the question at that point will be, do we have a jury trial or do we have a bench trial? And one of the things about people like you that want to check out of our government and they don't mind bringing in 30 of their fellow citizens to come in and hear their thing. The irony is, if I sent you a jury notice, you wouldn't show up. You would say, I don't contract with you and I won't participate in your system. But you don't have any compunction about dragging 30 other people in here to hear your case. So at this point, we haven't gotten that far.
Can we just decide that in 2 weeks?
Yes,
Okay.
certainly. So
This is one of the most powerful moments. The judge exposes the core hypocrisy, rejecting the government, yet expecting 12 jurors from that same system to validate your beliefs. It's a sharp collision of legal logic and moral irony that cuts straight to the truth.
Key West used to offer passports to the Conch Republic. There was a little place there, and you could get a Conch Republic passport, and it looked like a real. And they shut them down. People were using them in other countries to show they had a Conch Republic quasi-American passport. So there's all kinds of screwy passports out there.
And I understand that there's nefarious people who want to do things for nefarious purposes, and that's not me. I don't want to do anything for nefarious or evil purposes. I'm trying to be upright and righteous here and I'm just simply wanting to be separate according to my religious beliefs. And that's all this really boils down to.
All right. Well, one option is don't drive a car. If you don't want to participate in it and you want to opt out of our system.
The final exchange is a masterclass in judicial patience. If you reject the system, fine. But that means no driving on public roads built, maintained, and governed by that same system. You can't claim sovereignty while cruising on state highways like a VIP pass.
Have somebody else drive you or stay in one place. But if you want to use our public roadways and share the road with other people that are licensed, you can't just decide I live in an alternate universe and I don't have to obey the same rules that everybody else does. So one option is don't drive. And then you won't have to worry about it. But we'll see what we can figure out. We'll take another crack at this June 29th at 3 p.m. here, and I'll get those documents. If you have proof of insurance, bring it with you.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you then.
Cases like this go far beyond traffic violations. They expose the collision between personal belief and legal duty. The court doesn't entertain alternate realities. It enforces real laws. And as this judge proves, patience has limits. Fantasy stops where the law begins.